Okay, so I have some planting I need to do. The most important thing I want to do today, I went on to Etsy, or Etsy, I think Americans call it. I call it Etsy, because I really wanted this plant. Oh, look at that. Let me see what it's called in English. This is called a Chinese money plant. And I really wanted one. So I went on Etsy because everywhere else here that I was finding them were just crazy expensive. And in Denmark, there's a student, a biology student, that has his own plants, and he takes little cuttings and he sells them. And his Etsy name, and I think he sends worldwide, is Sy Botanica. SY Botanica. He sends really fast after you've ordered, like the next day already he'd sent it out. And the shipping though to here is $10, $9.50. So that was more than the actual plant. So I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna be it would just be silly for me to only order this one plant. If I'm already paying shipping costs, then I'm gonna order some other stuff. He had a couple of really gorgeous things that I ordered, and I just hope I can keep them alive. It just came in like half an hour ago. Oh goodness. They're really dry because they've been in the mail. But that's okay. That looks really good. That's really good root system. These are called, wait, Variegated String of Hearts. And they're so pretty. I don't know if Olivia can zoom in. They have just beautiful green, two colors of green. If you get too close, then it gets blurry, so be careful with that. And on the back side, they're purplish. Oh, they're just beautiful. And it's a hanging plant. So my plan is to get this really good and healthy, and then to have it in my living room hanging. And then I don't know how I'm going to do with these. I'm going to give it a try, but these are called burro's tail, like a donkey. Burro. I don't know if I'm saying that right. But it's just leaves, and but some of them have the starting of a root on them. So I'm going to just see what I can do with these. Then I've got this plant that I bought for super cheap, and it's already put out 4 babies. So I will be separating them from their mother and putting them in pots. Then, because of Corona, we have not been able to visit my mother-in-law and my father-in-law since Christmas. We really miss them. But she always does all my tomato plants for me, from the seeds from the year before. And last year, for some reason, her yellow tomatoes did not turn out, but she gave me some and they turned out. So I don't know why, because I'm not nearly as good as she is. So she told me to keep seeds from them for her. So I did. And the problem though now is, since we can't visit them, these seeds need to already be growing. But I'm not good as her at it, and so she actually did not want me to do this, but I'm going to go against her orders. She didn't order me. I'm going to go against her suggestion and go ahead and plant some, because we don't know when we're going to be able to see them next, because right now our numbers are so high in both their city and our city area, that we're not allowed to meet with anybody. We're only allowed to be with one person outside our household. And I don't see that changing anytime soon, because the numbers are not doing what they need to. Okay. I love clay pots. I have a little weakness for clay pots. So I'll be putting all of these in clay pots except for my tomato seeds. Those we'll be putting in these little things. Okay, let's get started. I want to get started with the ones that I just got in the mail though, because I feel like those could die. Now in the bottom of each clay pot, I like to put, this one's a little overkill. This one's a little big. But I like to put a rock in so that the dirt doesn't stop up the hole. It's really important that these plants have good drainage. Toby, maybe you could find some more little rocks for me around. They don't, nope. So I bought some dirt from the grocery store. A lot of although our hardware stores did just open up recently again. Been closed for a while, but I just got some dirt from the grocery store, pretty cheap. And we can also get dirt from our compost, but I tend to like to use for when I'm first rooting plants. Start off with just cheap flour dirt. I'm not an expert though. And then I every couple of weeks will put a little bit of dirt from our compost. Am I saying that right? Compost, I think so. Just around the plant. Okay, so here we go. What was this called? String of hearts, right? Mm-hmm. String of hearts. Here we go. This is a rooted cutting. Oh, 2 of them. That's right. I went ahead and went with 2 of them. Okay, come on. They're all tangled up. Here we go. Okay, so here's the first one. Look at that beautiful root. This one should do well. And the root's growing from, I have another plant like this. Growing from a little nodule. And once you have one of these make great gifts. Once you have one of these, just every couple months, they've just got tons of little babies. And you just can keep on dividing them and dividing them and dividing them. They make great gifts for people. Whether it's gifts for if you're invited over, which isn't happening much these days, or teacher gifts when a teacher has a birthday or Christmas. And people just love this as a gift. Okay. Aren't these clay pots just so, I just love them. And the uglier they get, the more I love them. Like this stuff on the side. Ooh, this aging. I just think it's so beautiful. It just looks so gardeny. Okay, so I've got that first one potted. I will water it in a minute. I want to get these others potted before I start. Oh, he's taking too long to bring me rocks. Okay, I want to show the Chinese money plant again. The same deal with this. This is one that just gives off lots and lots of babies in every couple of months, but I didn't have one yet. Every couple of months you can take the babies out and repot them. It's almost like a weed. Beautiful weed. Hurry, babe. Okay, while I'm waiting on him, I will start with the tomatoes seeds because those don't need rocks down in the bottom. I hope no true gardeners are watching this because they're going to see all my mistakes. The tomatoes then I keep in this tray and I water them from the bottom. So I don't actually dump water on the top of the soil. I pour it down in this bottom part and they get their, the seedlings get their water those first weeks from the bottom. And I'm actually late with this. I should have started this before, but we kept on hoping that we would be able to go see them, and my mother-in-law wanted to just rather do it herself because she knows she's better than me. My mistake tends to be once I've got the little seedlings once they've started growing, I'll forget some days to put them out in the sun. And so they just get really gangly really fast. And that's not very, here he comes. That's not very good for them. But it's better than nothing. So I'm going to do this. Try to remember this time though. Every morning put them out. Every evening bring them in. That's what my father-in-law do. Oh, you are such a good worker. Okay, so I've got some little rocks now here that I'm just putting over the hole so that it's the dirt doesn't clog them up. Okay, so I'm gonna switch back now since I've got the rocks to these clay pots and get the stuff from the mail order in them. Okay. Just a little tip too, if you're at somebody's house, okay, this is a little like begging, but if it's a good friend and you're at their house and you see they have like some random plant that has all these new little, like this one, has all these new little plants growing, most people have no problem and are even like happy to give you one of the new little baby plants. Yesterday I was at work. No, not yesterday. Wednesday I was at work. I teach at 2 different schools, and at one of the schools, I was just walking out to my car and I glanced over and there's like this super old, I mean, it's probably been there 60 years, 80 years, I don't know, the super old, very low wall, stone wall, and it had evidently at one point in time, some point in time, been planted with lots of rock garden type plants that do well growing out of crevices of rocks. Well, that's what I want to do over by my waterfall. The same type of thing. So I will just get a couple of little clippings from that, because I mean there are thousands of them. They're growing everywhere because they just multiply. And this little rock wall has not been tended to for, oh, at least as long as I've been there, which is 7 years. So I'm gonna get some clippings from that too. They're like outdoor succulents. They just multiply, multiply, multiply. These are indoor succulent type things. I don't know if these are officially succulents. I'm just calling them that. Okay, so here's my Chinese money plant from Etsy or Etsy. And look at these roots. Well, because I've never had one of these before. Okay, I don't want to destroy it though, so I'm just gonna leave it. I'm not gonna explore the roots until it's got some babies. All right, I'm making a little hole and I'm just gonna stick it down in here. I think this one will do well because it's an actual little plant already. Okay, and now this little second little piece of my, what was this? String of hearts. I keep on forgetting the name of this. Okay. And I do think I will go ahead and water it with a little bit of liquid fertilizer. Sorry, sometimes I have to stop and think of what these things are called in English. Because everything I buy here, the fertilizer and whatever else, is all German names. Okay. Dünger. So those are those guys. Now I'm a little unsure about these little guys. I'm thinking I'm just gonna lay them on dirt on the top like I've done with other plants, succulents, and hope that they get roots. But from what I've read in the internet, because I googled it, these take a while to get really healthy roots. We'll see. Maybe I'll take a bigger pot for this. Okay, I'm just gonna fill this up with dirt and just lay them out nicely on the top, I think. So these are Burro's tail. Zedombrogito is the Latin name. I have a similar succulent. I'm laying them all down. I hope I'm doing this right, so that this little, where it broke off from the stem, is pointing down to the dirt, because I think that's where the roots will end up coming out of. I hope I'm doing that right though. I've never done this one before. Anyway, I have a similar one that my sister-in-law gave me, Michaela, and actually I could separate that one out too. It already has babies as well. I've got so many plants that I need. Hey kitty. You have wet paws. Silly cat. Okay. Oh, there's a free, she found the free cushion over there. All right. All right, so I hope these root. These are, like I said, these are supposed to take a really long time to get a decent root. So my other problem is sometimes I forget to water things. They die. Okay. Now, those things that came in the mail are taken care of, except for watering. I do need to do that. I think I'm going to replant out these. Oh, look at that. And this poor plant. It's just, it needs fertilizing. It needs, there's like almost no dirt left. Ouch. Ouch. Sharp. Claw. Don't dig. Claw. Okay. I have a little display of succulents when you come into my foyer in these pots. Because I just love these clay pots. And I think back then, I think I'm going to dump this out. I think back then I did not put a rock down in the bottom. No, I did not. What I really like about the clay pots is I get the impression that when I water, if it's too much, it's like the pot soaks full of water. So, so the plant gets enough, but then it's like I don't need to water for a long time because then as the dirt dries out, then it sort of gets water from the pot. I don't know, that may not make sense. That's the impression I get. Okay. So here you can see, you know, I wonder if I have to put these in water first to get them to grow. Or if they'll just grow when I break them off of the main stem. You can see they're all still attached to the mom. Oh, maybe you can't see here. They're all still attached to the mom, so I'm going to break them off of the mom. I may try, how many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. I may try 2 in water and 2 in dirt. Because I've never separated this one before. Okay, so there he is. 1, 2, 3, and well, you know what? That one's pretty small still. Maybe I'll leave him. So the mama's not sad. Okay. Some dirt back in here. I'm going to put this one in dirt and see how it roots. I have no idea what these are called. I probably had the name when I bought it, but it was one of those Aldi finds for like, I don't know, $2. Okay. See how he does. And then the other 2 I'm going to put in, I'm going to put in water and see if those do well rooting. Okay, this one actually already has a little tiny baby root. Do you see that sticking up there? Okay. Now, tomatoes. We're sitting out here on our little, I don't know, Olivia, maybe you can back up a little bit and show everybody where we're at. This was a really ugly wall, and my father-in-law thinks it's still a really ugly wall, but I really like the exposed brick look. So I pressure washed it, and chipped off a bunch of the, it was like this plaster all over it. Chipped off a bunch of it, pressure washed it, and I'm going to leave it like that. And now I've got roses in big pots here, and they're climbing roses. I think that'll be a really pretty accent wall when those roses grow. So basically what I do when we're eating tomatoes is I just cut open a tomato and scrape out some of the seeds and put them on a paper towel. Let them dry in the windowsill, and then put them in a box. And the next year, those are the ones we use. Actually, my mother-in-law doesn't, because she's better at it. But we've already been through that. But this year I'm gonna do it with the yellow ones, since hers didn't grow last year for some reason. She had tons and tons of other colors, but not the yellow ones. And then I just tear the little piece of paper towel with the seed off and just leave it on there. Paper towel is biodegradable, and stick it down in there. We are big tomato eaters. And Christian refuses to eat tomatoes the whole year long because they aren't as good as the tomatoes that we have homegrown. He's a snob. But he is right. They do taste better, the ones that are without chemicals and without, I don't know, artificial whatevers. Okay. So we usually have about, I don't know, between 40 and 60 tomato plants every year. Press them slightly underneath the soil. Ooh, that one came off the paper towel and stuck to me. I just sort of push them down into the dirt. And need 2 more. And then I just push the dirt back over them after I've done them all. Otherwise I forget where I was. Okay, so then I go back and I just sort of push the dirt over the paper towel that was on the sides. You don't want them too deep down in there. What are you doing?
Kitty snatched away my pillow.
Silly cat. Here, you can take this one.
Thank you.
You just kept on going up and down and up and down. I was like, what is she doing? So I'm gonna put a popsicle stick. We tickle Olivia's honey bone. I'll put a popsicle stick in here and then just right on their yellow tomatoes. Okay, so this is another house plant I've got that does really lots of propagating. I've already gifted several babies. I don't know if you call them babies, that's just what I call them to other people. I've gifted them to other people. Okay, so I'm gonna hold this up so Olivia can look down into the bottom of the pot. I mean, don't get too close because it gets blurry.
Okay.
But it started out as just one little nodule down in here. And then it just gets more and more, and so I'm gonna dig out some of these outer ones. I really probably should dig out some of the middle ones too, because they just, yeah. Anyway, so that's what I'm doing now with this one. The shovel's just a bit wide. I'm gonna destroy everything in here. So, you see that little nodule? That one is now gonna get stuck into a plant. It doesn't look like much, but these guys, they take off well. It takes about a week or so. And then bam. Okay, they look like they're gonna die for like the first week or two. And then you just keep them watered, not soaked, but keep them with enough water and they just get perkier and perkier. All right, so this one I also just bought. It was like an Aldi or a Lidl or some random place like that, and I thought it was pretty, so I bought it. And super cheap. And it just is the gift that keeps on giving. So from now on I will actually spray these probably, so I don't disturb them. Here you can see how they're sort of swimming up as I water them, but from now on I spray them with ooh, that one got a little bit too deep. I spray them with a sprayer so that so I don't disturb any root fruit things that are going. I wanted to show y'all this amazing thing. A friend on Facebook had one of these, and I immediately coveted it. Oh, and bought one for myself for my birthday. I saw it right before my birthday. I was like, perfect. Okay, so these things I like to use for rooting. So filling these little thingies up with water. Ooh, too much. Isn't it pretty? I also really like it because you can see, I mean, obviously any old jelly jar would be just fine, but I like to do it in jars because you can see what the roots are doing. So these are the two little babies that I don't know if these are needing to be rooted in water, so I'm just gonna try, see what happens. And I just sort of wedge them in here like this. The key to this one is not forgetting to refill the water every couple of days. So it will evaporate. Turn it so it's not so far down in the water. Okay, now what I wanted to do, since this table is a mess anyway, is I've got these cheapo plastic little planters that I want to fill up with dirt, and I want to get some little, what I was talking about, the stone, what do you call that? Rock garden plants, rock garden plants that grow well in rock garden type spots that don't get a lot of water. And I've got some of those that are just creepers. I'm gonna get some of those out of my garden that have already over here. Olivia, maybe we should just show them what I'm talking about. Get some clippings from there and start some stuff going for when my waterfall is finished, so that I've got some plants already for my waterfall out of my own garden. I don't want to buy tons and tons of plants for that. I just had this done last year. No, it's been a year and a half now. And what you need to know about it is these little beds here are not very deep. They don't have much soil in them because the builders, in order to do this this border here, this brick border, they had to do cement at an angle here like this. And then in the very middle, there's no cement, but there's quite an angle here of cement right underneath the dirt. So I couldn't plant anything that needed to have really deep soil for the roots. So I planted, and it was just these 3 little pots of stuff. And actually here it was 2. I'm not sure anymore. 3. No, it was 2. And then for my old little garden plot, 1. And as you see, it's just completely taken over this corner. Did the same thing over there. So my idea now is to take out some of this and plant it in these little guys so that they are all ready to go when I'm done with the waterfall and want plants for between the rocks for over there. And the warmer it gets, these bloom pink and purple and white. They're just beautiful. Oh, come out. There we go. Okay, so as you can see, this also has its own little root system here. All of these plants have started doing their own roots. Could maybe even separate this again. Yes, all right. want to just show you guys. This is what I was talking about. See how these clay pots have just, have just started to fill themselves up with water? Just soak in all the water. How they're just sort of look kind of damp looking. Over here you can see it well too, where the pot has started to soak up the water. And then over the next couple of days, when the dirt dries out, then it will basically give the dirt back with some more water, or it will just evaporate if it's too much water. So I really like these clay pots.